for millions of Americans. This is the potential reality that is currently sitting on the edge of a knife. We are talking about a massive financial shift, a breaking development regarding the $1,200 extra payment that has been the subject of whispers, rumors, and now high-level legislative battles. The cost of living has skyrocketed. The price of milk and eggs feels like a luxury tax, and the fixed income that was supposed to be a safety net has turned into a tightrope over a canyon. They know that inflation has eaten away at the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, almost as soon as it hit your bank accounts. But here is where the story gets interesting. While the mainstream news is distracted by political scandals, there is a focused, intense push happening right now to release substantial relief funds specifically for Social Security, SSI, and SSDI beneficiaries. We are looking at the proposal for a $1,200 targeted payment. This isn't just a random number thrown out into the void. This figure represents a critical gap filler that economists and advocates have argued is necessary to keep millions of seniors above the poverty line. Let's get down to the brass tacks of eligibility, because this is where most people get disqualified without even realizing it. The latest updates coming from the advocacy groups pushing this legislation suggest a very specific set of criteria designed to target those who need it most. If you are currently receiving Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, you are at the very top of the priority list. Why? Because the federal benefit rate for SSI is notoriously low, often leaving recipients well below the federal poverty line. The argument being made in the halls of Congress right now is that SSI recipients have the least amount of financial elasticity. You cannot just go out and work more hours. Your income is fixed by the government. Therefore, any extra payment, specifically this proposed $1,200, is viewed not as a stimulus, but as a correction. It is a correction for years of underfunding. But it is not just SSI. If you are on Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, and your income falls below a certain threshold, you are also in the conversation. The key metric they are looking at is Adjusted Gross Income, or AGI. If you have no other source of income other than your federal benefits, you are essentially pre-qualified in the eyes of these proposed bills. This is the government's way of checking if you actually need the money. Some lawmakers are pushing for a blanket release, meaning if you have a Social Security number and receive benefits, you get the check. Period. But the other side, the fiscal hawks, are demanding strict income caps. They want to ensure that a millionaire who happens to get a small Social Security check doesn't get this $1,200. For you, the average senior or disabled individual earning less than $75,000 a year as an individual or $150,000 as a couple, you are in the safety zone. But here is the catch that nobody is talking about: the resource limit. For SSI beneficiaries specifically, you know the strict rules about how much cash you can have in the bank, usually $2,000 for an individual. The fear, and it is a valid one, is that receiving a $1,200 lump sum could push you over that asset limit and disqualify you from your regular monthly benefits. That would be a disaster. However, the latest language in the proposal includes a safe harbor provision. This means the extra payment would not be counted as income or resources for a period of 12 months, protecting your ongoing eligibility. This is a crucial detail that protects you, but you have to be aware of it so you don't panic when the money hits. The government operates on cycles, and we are approaching a window where budget reconciliation and emergency spending bills are often tabled. The pressure is mounting because of the election cycle. Politicians know that seniors vote. They know that the disability community is a powerful voting bloc. They cannot afford to ignore the cries for help when the price of groceries has risen 20 or 30% in some areas. The proposal for the $1,200 is being positioned as an inflation relief measure. This branding is important because it bypasses some of the gridlock associated with standard welfare debates. It frames the payment as a necessary response to an economic crisis, much like the stimulus checks of the past. But unlike those checks, which went to almost everyone, this is targeted. It is focused. It is for you. The urgency comes from the fact that every day this is delayed, the value of your current check decreases. The advocates are screaming from the rooftops that waiting another year is not an option. Now, I want you to lean in closely because we are about to discuss the trigger mechanism. This is the specific economic indicator that could force the government's hand to release these funds. We are watching the CPIW, the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This is the number that determines your COLA. If inflation remains sticky, and all signs indicate that it is not going down as fast as they predicted, the standard COLA raise will not be enough. It will be a slap in the face. When the COLA is insufficient, history shows that Congress faces immense pressure to provide a one-time kicker payment, or a boost. That is exactly what this $1,200 proposal represents. It is the gap bridger. It is the acknowledgement that a 3% or 3.2% raise doesn't cover a 10% increase in rent. By understanding this trigger, you can see the signs before the rest of the public. When you see the news talking about stubborn inflation, you should read that as increased likelihood of an extra payment. There is another layer to this eligibility update that involves the Social Security Expansion Act. You may have heard this name thrown around, but do you know what is actually inside it? Beyond just solvency for the program, there's language advocating for an immediate increase in benefits. While the bill proposes a $200 monthly increase, which equals $2,400 a year, the compromise that is often floated in committees is a lump sum payment to provide immediate relief while the long-term legislation is debated. This $1,200 is essentially the down payment on that promise. If you are a retiree who has paid into the system for 40 years, you are entitled to a dignified retirement. This isn't a handout, it is a dividend on the investment you made in America. The emotional toll of checking the mailbox every day hoping for good news is exhausting. We know that. We feel that. That is why staying informed on the specific movement of these bills is your best defense against despair.
Just recently, a coalition of advocacy groups sent a powerful letter to Congress. This wasn't just a polite request, it was a demand. They outlined the dire circumstances facing seniors, the choice between heating their homes and eating dinner. This letter has caused a stir on Capitol Hill. It has forced lawmakers who were previously silent to go on record. We are seeing bipartisan support emerging in areas we didn't expect. Why? Because poverty among seniors doesn't care if you are a Democrat or a Republican. It affects everyone. This shifting political landscape is the best news we have had in months. It means the deadlock is breaking. It means the $1,200 is moving from impossible to probable. But probability doesn't pay the rent. Action does. And the action is happening now. I know what you are thinking. I've heard this before. They always promise and never deliver. You have every right to be skeptical. In fact, your skepticism is your armor. But do not let skepticism turn into cynicism. Cynicism makes you tune out, and if you tune out, you miss the window to act. There have been times in history where benefits were unclaimed simply because people didn't know they qualified or didn't know how to apply. While this specific $1,200 payment is being designed as an automatic deposit, meaning if the IRS and Social Security Administration have your direct deposit info, it just shows up, there are always edge cases, people who moved, people who changed banks, people who recently became eligible for SSI and aren't fully in the system yet. You need to ensure your house is in order. My advice to you right now is to log into your My Social Security account online. Check your details. Make sure your address is current. Make sure your direct deposit is active. Do not give them a single excuse to delay your money when the green light turns on. These are the people who fall through the cracks. What if you are a mixed eligibility household? Maybe one spouse is on Social Security and the other is still working part-time. The latest guidance suggests that household income will be the primary filter. This is actually good news for many because it means your spouse's part-time job likely won't disqualify you, provided you're under those high thresholds we mentioned earlier. The goal of this relief is to help the household stabilize. They understand that if one person is struggling, the whole house struggles. The language is becoming more inclusive, not less. They're trying to cast a net that catches the people drowning in debt, not filter out people based on technicalities. You are going to see headlines that contradict each other. One day they will say the deal is dead, the next day they will say it is imminent. This is the nature of the beast. It is a roller coaster designed to shake you off. Do not let go. The fundamental economic data supports the need for this payment. The political pressure supports the need for this payment. And the moral obligation of the country demands this payment. The money is there. It is a matter of allocation and political will. We are watching the Treasury Department closely. We are watching the statements from the Social Security Commissioner. Every subtle shift in language is a clue, and we are collecting those clues to build the full picture for you.
The relief of having that $1,200, it is a deep breath. It is a full fridge. It is a moment of peace in a chaotic world. That feeling is worth fighting for. It is worth staying engaged for. You are not alone in this fight. There are millions standing right beside you, waiting for the same signal. The power of this community is immense. When seniors speak with one voice, Washington listens. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and right now, we need to be the loudest wheel on the wagon. We need to keep the pressure up, keep the awareness high, and keep our eyes on the prize. It is just the beginning of the final chapter. The resolution is coming. The decisions are being made. You have the information, you understand the criteria, and you know what to watch for. You are now armed with knowledge that puts you ahead of the curve. Do not let this slide. Do not assume someone else will tell you when the money drops. You need to be vigilant. The world moves fast, and financial news moves even faster. If you want to be the first to know when the bill is signed, when the eligibility window opens, and when the deposit dates are confirmed, you need to be plugged into the source. We track this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you don't have to. We sift through the legal jargon and the political spin to bring you the raw, unfiltered truth about your money. If you want to secure your financial future and ensure you never miss a breaking update about this $1,200 payment or any other benefit increase, you must take action. Click that subscribe button right now. Do not hesitate. Turn on the notification bell so that the moment we upload the news, you are alerted instantly. This is about your money, your life, and your peace of mind. Join our community of informed, empowered seniors who are refusing to be left behind. Subscribe now, stay strong, and let's watch this story unfold together until the money is in the bank. We will see you in the next update.